Alright, dang it. My neurodivergence is kicked in, and I'm hearing all these bad arguments for 100 men versus a gorilla, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this right now. Because I'm neurodivergent and I take stuff way too serious. So the assumed argument is one gorilla versus 100 men in an open field. The consensus seems to be forming that the 100 men will win due to endurance or whatever. No, you're wrong. Now I'll give you the arguments, okay? Given that some of them had the presence of mind, they could form a little bit of a battle plan and try to coordinate and whatever to try to exhaust the gorilla. They could also grab rocks and sticks. I'll allow that, it's not cheating or whatever. They're around. But a gorilla typically weighs about 400 pounds, which means that its size and stuff is actually massive compared to a human. So the rocks and the sticks that the humans could use against a gorilla are almost negligible. They're more an annoyance. They're not going to do real damage. Picture someone a fourth your size throwing a rock a fourth of the size that you could throw at you. And while that's an annoyance, I don't believe the fight's going to last long enough to make any kind of meaningful impact besides getting whoever has a stick targeted real fast. Because there's many other factors that aren't being considered. And we address the strength. Gorillas 4 to 6 times as strong. If someone, tries to wrestle a gorilla, they'll get their arm ripped out of the socket. Easy. The gorilla's also got reach. It's agile. It's as fast as the fastest guy in that 100. Easy. But you guys are also ignoring the fact that that kind of muscle density on the gorilla makes it almost impossible to damage the gorilla with your bare hands. Picture The Rock and then double him in size and muscle mass, and that kind of padding is going to protect the gorilla. So yeah, we're talking 1 hit point damage. If you're punching, maybe 2 if you get really lucky with the stick or a rock. And here's where the argument falls apart, because everybody's eventually the gorilla will wear out. But you're forgetting there's problems that come with a higher intelligence, like morale, like intimidation, like fear and panic. So we'll assume everybody's average, and the average person might be able to function in that situation, because we got fight, we got flight. So half of these guys are flight. They're basically going to try to hide behind the other guys and not die, basically. They'll be the ones uselessly throwing rocks and that kind of thing. So we already cut our fighting force in half just because we're smart. Now, we also have to, consider that they're going to break ranks and scatter every time that gorilla charges. Out of pure survival instinct, they have a concept of death and danger that the gorilla doesn't have to worry about. Because moving on to the gorilla's psyche, the gorilla's not scared of humans. Okay, the gorilla knows a human is a fourth of its size. It's basically like a toddler trying to square up with you. On top of that, they're territorial, and they'll go aggressive real quick if they get attacked. Which leads us to the next problematic argument, and it's one of pure hubris, and it's that you're actually fighting the gorilla. Because the gorilla doesn't have to hit you. It doesn't have to pick you up and slam you. That gorilla can charge full on, just a straight line through as many people as it can mow down, because it's 400 pounds and 6 times stronger than you. Which means it's not going to sit there and carefully punch, each human or whatever. No, it's going to charge in a line, and it's going to wipe out 5 or 6 guys at a time. If it starts spinning around and stuff, it might grab one and use that as a weapon against other ones. Because while that gorilla does not have the capacity for fear in humans unless they meaningfully hurt it, which I don't believe they can do, it does have the capacity for rage. And it is smart enough to realize that all of these people are trying to hurt it. Like, you guys are talking about, oh, the gorilla will wear out. It'll get fatigued or whatever. It can take 6 guys out in like 20, 30 seconds. On top of that, it has a primal drive to attack, which means it's not sitting there trying to formulate a plan. It's not doing, like some complex maneuver. It has zero decision, like, delay, basically. It's just going. It's going to destroy everything, one after the other. Just screw this guy, screw that guy, screw this guy, screw all these guys, and I'll allow that it's not going to be perfectly efficient. It doesn't need to be. By the time like the humans even like squared up and formed a plan, that gorilla has already taken out like 25 people. And because of the fight or flight response, most of them are the fight people that didn't immediately run away from a gorilla. So given our timeline, right, we start. That gorilla takes out roughly 25 people before we even have a plan. We were saying, like, if it charges, that's about, like, we'll say, just average it, four people get trampled, in about 20 seconds. Now, due to like inefficiencies, everything was calculated. I'd average about the first 5 minutes, 25 people are gone. 80% of those are fighters, so that's 20 of the fight people gone. 5 of our flight people are gone, which means the initial plan is probably going to fail because you have 30 people trying to convince 40 people that today is a good day to die and them not having it. So now we have a couple of people grabbing rocks and sticks and stuff, minorly like fatiguing the gorilla. Meanwhile, this gorilla is still going. So we're going the next 5 minutes. And of course, he's going to attack the people attacking him. Now let's account for fatigue or whatever, or somebody gets lucky and stuff, because I'm trying to make this balanced. So like, we'll say he only gets 20 people in this 5 minutes, right? However, almost all of them are going to be the fight people, not the flight people. Okay, now I left out 5 people just because we're not sure. But now we're down to 10 people who are fight or flight, 5 just wild cards, and then they're trying to convince 40 other people that today's a good day to die fighting this gorilla that they just watched murder like freaking 45 people. So at this point, panic is going to set in. Most people are going to be trying to escape and evade, so that like the exhaustion and stuff is going to lessen a lot, because he's not taking any rocks or anything at this point. He's basically just charging through the people trying to fight him while he's trying to get to the people trying to run away. Okay, and we'll up his fatigue like a little bit, but not as much. Like with him getting more tired and not getting attacked, we'll say like 20 more people go. All the fighters are gone. Okay, everybody else is running or evading or panicking. So we have like 40-ish scared as hell panicking people, and that's it. All right, they're not putting up any kind of meaningful fight. The gorilla has been attacked and prodded to the point where it's in full rage now. So at the 20-minute mark, like assuming they're meaningfully evasive, even though it's more agile and faster and stuff, we'll say about the same 20, is gone, and then it's 20 people, 20 scared people versus 1 gorilla. Now it's probably pretty tired, but that doesn't factor in because nobody's trying to fight it. They're just trying to survive at this point. Like literally 25 minutes in, you're down to like the last 5 wild cards where the gorilla might just get bored or just determine they're not a threat and make them a toy at that point. But I'd argue the gorilla still wins by befriending them because they're basically that gorilla's bitch for life now. Like opposable thumbs and tactics and all of that only works if you're fighting another human. If you can't meaningfully damage the gorilla and it doesn't give you any time to plan, none of that matters. So that's the gorilla wins, period. period.